A culture that celebrates the prom queen over the math Olympiad champ will not produce the best engineers.
Somebody got stuffed in a locker. I'm not going to say who. I think we can bring in the absolute top talent from around the world and at the same time not insult the rest of the United States of America.
Did Elon and Vivek just betray Donald Trump's America First agenda? So the internet is on fire right now as Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy seem to have rubbed Republicans the wrong way with their latest statement on legal immigration. A lot of people are seeing this as them betraying Donald Trump's America First agenda, and I'm going to let you guys know everything that's been going on and what I think about it as well. But if we could get this video to 5,000 likes, as always, I would appreciate it. Now, the big controversy is about H-1B visas. These are work visas that allow skilled workers to be able to come work in the United States if they meet certain criteria, usually a bachelor's or a master's or a doctorate degree in college. And where this is really creating a kerfuffle is in the tech industry, where a lot of H-1B migrants are used to fill jobs that a lot of people are saying Americans should be given the opportunity to fulfill first. Now, ideally, this would align with Donald Trump's America First agenda, but Vivek called out a glaring problem with American culture, and this is what is sending Twitter into a firestorm. Now, Vivek writes, the reason top tech companies often hire foreign-born and first-generation engineers over Native Americans isn't because of an innate American IQ deficit. A key part of it comes down to the C word, culture. Tough questions demand tough answers, and if we're really serious about fixing the problem, we have to confront the truth. Our American culture has venerated mediocrity over excellence for way too long. That doesn't start in college, it starts young. A culture that celebrates the prom queen over the math Olympiad champ or the jock over the valedictorian will not produce the best engineers. A culture that venerates Corey from Boy Meets World or Zack and Slater over Screech and Saved by the Bell or Stefan over Steve Urkel in Family Matters will not produce the best engineers. Fact, I know multiple sets of immigrant parents in the 90s who actively limited how much their kids could watch those TV shows precisely because they promoted mediocrity, and their kids went on to become wildly successful STEM graduates. More, movies like Whiplash, fewer reruns of Friends, more math tutoring, fewer sleepovers, more weekend science competitions, fewer Saturday morning cartoons, more books, less TV, more creating, less chilling, more extracurriculars, less hanging out at the mall. Most normal American parents look skeptically at those kinds of parents. More normal American kids view those kinds of kids with scorn. If you grow up aspiring to normalcy, normalcy is what you will achieve. Now close your eyes and visualize which family you knew in the 90s who raised their kids according to one model versus the other. Be brutally honest. Normalcy doesn't cut it in a hyper-competitive global market for technical talent, and if we pretend like it does, we'll have our asses handed to us by China. This could be our Sputnik moment. We've awakened from slumber before, and we can do it again. Trump's election hopefully marks the beginning of a golden era in America, but only if our culture fully wakes up. A culture that once again prioritizes achievement over normalcy, excellence over mediocrity, nerdiness over conformity, hard work over laziness. That's the work we have cut out for us. Rather than wallowing in victimhood and just wishing alternative hiring practices into existence, I'm confident we can do it. Basically, everybody who's upset is seeing that as an insult to the American culture and saying that a more strict, studious kind of culture is preferable over a more free-flowing, fun-centered kind of culture. And this is honestly one of the most interesting debates that I've seen take place on Twitter, simply because there is a lot of merit in both sides. Now, let me know what you guys think in the comments section below about whether you think Vivek was wrong or whether you think he was right. I'm personally more in the boat of he is actually right. He makes a lot of valid points. I've always been a believer that our education system needs to be completely revamped to give kids the opportunity to be successful in today's world and not a cog in the machine that the education system is designed to create.
A culture that celebrates the prom queen over the math Olympiad champ or the jock over the valedictorian will not produce the best engineers. Sounds a little embittered, maybe. Is it American culture that's the problem?
Somebody got stuffed in a locker. I'm not going to say who. Look, I think there's a way to solve this and talk about this that doesn't denigrate all of American culture. I mean, I'm now understanding more and more how he got 100 votes in Iowa or whatever it was he got during the Iowa caucus. The reality is, and Elon, by the way, clarified or further explained his position later and was talking about saying, I want to bring in the top 0.1% of engineering talent from around the world. It's like bringing in a Jokic or a Wembyana to help your whole team if you want to make a comparison to the NBA. So I think we can bring in the absolute top talent from around the world and at the same time not insult the rest of the United States of America and our culture and the way we do things here, and also lift up the American students who have the talent and who have the interest and put them in the right educational opportunities.
Americans have this tendency to coddle and baby our youth as if they're not extremely capable human beings. My grandfather was a brilliant man, one of the biggest influences in my life. And he had that Indian kind of parenting strategy as it related to how he interacted with me and my brother. He never spoke baby talk to us. He always treated us like we were humans with brains. He encouraged learning. He encouraged intelligence. He encouraged being proficient. He encouraged being able to do arithmetic in your head, being articulate, knowing how to read, write, and critically think. And that served me incredibly well in life. I don't know how old you are watching this video, but if you've talked to any kid between the ages of 10 years old and 18, all they want to be are social media influencers, are TikTok stars. They genuinely have no interest in pursuing anything that is intellectually stimulating. They want to smile and dance for the camera and get millions of views for it. And that is a cultural problem. The same way that I would always highlight how the black community has a cultural problem that everybody wants to be an athlete or a rapper, Americans in general have the problem now of wanting to be a social media influencer or something easy, something simple. They don't want to challenge themselves. They don't want to achieve scholastically. And that will certainly lead to a skills problem that puts the entire country at risk of our competitors. The TikTok for Chinese kids is all STEM. It's all science experiments. It's all engineering, while they pump out to our kids the most degenerate, brain rot-filled content that they possibly can. So while we may want these roles to get filled by American-born talent, the simple reality is that it can't unless we make some serious cultural changes in what we prioritize. What we don't want is for China to become the world superpower and impose their way of life on the entire world, because it isn't going to be this fun, free, fair world that the United States has ushered in for everybody. China has one singular goal: to become the world's superpower. That is it. They're a 5,000-year-old civilization. They can play the long game with us. And if that means slowly chipping away at our dominance year by year, that's what they're going to do. Now listen to what Trump has to say about this, because he makes a really good point, agreeing with Vivek. Watch.
It's so sad when we lose people from Harvard, MIT, from the greatest schools, and lesser schools that are phenomenal schools also. And what I wanted to do, and I would have done this, but then we had to solve the COVID problem because that came in and, sort of dominated for a little while, as you perhaps know. But what I want to do and what I will do is, you graduate from a college, I think you should get automatically, as part of your diploma, a green card to be able to stay in this country. And that includes junior colleges too. Anybody graduates from a college, you go in there for 2 years or 4 years. If you graduate or you get a doctorate degree from a college, you should be able to stay in this country. And you know more stories than I do, but I know of stories where people graduated from a top college or from a college, and they desperately wanted to stay here. They had a plan for a company, a concept, and they can't. They go back to India, they go back to China, they do the same basic company in those places, and they become multi-billionaires employing thousands and thousands of people, and it could have been done here.
The US literally took Nazi aerospace scientists and brought them into America, founded NASA, because these people were such incredible minds. We were fighting a new battle with the Soviet Union, and we needed the best minds we could possibly have working on our side. That mindset has helped usher in American prosperity. So for us to start rejecting it now would definitely be a big mistake, in my opinion. Now, on the flip side of that, America's fun, cool, relaxed culture has also led to most of the innovation and new startups that a lot of countries don't get to take advantage of because they have that ultra strict and conservative culture. Americans are great at imagining and being creative and being ambitious and risk takers. And that's all part of our culture. And that's what's helped us explode as a world superpower. But you definitely need both sides of the coin. There has to be a healthy balance. Now watch CNN take the opposite side of that, saying we actually need to focus on more homegrown American-born talent. Watch.
Yeah, look, I think with all due respect to Mr. Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy, they should focus on saving federal dollars for the taxpayers and not immigration policy. I understand some of the points that Catherine made, and I agree to an extent, but I think the U.S. should focus more on domestic skill development. Studies also show that H-1B1 exacerbates employers hiring individuals from outside of the country when they could potentially hire minorities, for an example, which we know there's a shortage in the STEM fields. There are a significant number of Americans who I think would love opportunities if they had the proper training and skills to operate in those jobs fairly well. So why not start and focus there? I'm not of the support or mindset, Caitlin, that we should let in more than the 60,000+ that were already let into the country. Do we have some deficits? I certainly understand that point, again, to what Catherine was sort of alluding to. But I think by focusing on increasing domestic skill development, you can decrease the furtherance of those deficits by virtue of saying, you know what, we're going to spend more of our time, more of our dollars educating our own citizens to compete for these jobs versus saying, let's increase to 100,000 or maybe even more for employers to bring in individuals from India, which is a predominant country where many of them come from. I don't agree with that at all. And I think folks in the MAGA world have every right to be angry with Vivek and Elon Musk. Yeah.
I'm not going to lie, that's why I love this debate, because people who hate Trump and hate MAGA have to agree with one side of what MAGA is saying. Either you believe we need to bring in high-skilled labor, or you think we need to develop homegrown labor. Either way, you're agreeing with MAGA, and it ends up putting them in a really funny position. But what he's saying is correct. We do need to put an emphasis on developing our homegrown talent. But even if we do that, that won't come into fruition for quite a while. So in the interim, we can't just let 5 or 10 years go by without bringing in this top elite level talent in order to aid us in bolstering our strength and resilience towards our foreign enemies. We have the resources and the ability to invest in making our workforce the best workforce in the world, which it is for the most part. It's just that, why wouldn't you want all of the top talent? Why settle for 70 or 80% of the top talent? Why not recruit every single person you can who is elite at something and have them build that thing or work on that thing here in America, where it benefits all of us and takes away from our enemies being able to utilize them? But let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Should we restrict H-1B immigration work visas, or do you think that we should allow more people to come in if they are providing that top talent to America? If you enjoyed the video, make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you have not already. Turn on those notification bells so you never miss a video, and I will see you guys in the next one.